Hey everyone, it is Savannah and welcome back to Signature Ways. I am so excited for these two powerful women that we have with us today. But before I bring them on, I just wanted to share some stats about what their team did last year. Last year, their team in California and Colorado closed 182 transactions. And in Colorado, they were ranked number 14 within EXP. They are a women-led team here in Colorado, which they will talk more about. And the energy that they bring is just so fun. Their team dynamic is just something you always want to be around. So without further ado, I would love to bring to the stage Abby and Katie. Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys this morning?
Good.
Afternoon. I guess it's afternoon.
No, we're doing good. Thanks for the nice introduction.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, of course, of course. So when we started this podcast, I knew the two of you had to be on here because last year you guys, they said it was one of the most difficult markets, right? That, a lot of people did struggle last year, and yet your team absolutely crushed it last year. So I can't wait to talk about that, but I would love to hear kind of your guys' journey getting into real estate and then kind of your team dynamic.
You want to go first?
Yeah. So I got licensed in 2017 on a whim. I wasn't really planning on getting licensed, and it just kind of happened, and somehow I'm still here. So I'm very grateful for that. So I think this is now, I guess, my 9th year. I've been through a few different brokerages, and I was a solo agent for most of my career, and then moved over to a team close to 2.5 years ago now. So that's kind of my journey so far.
And yeah, I also kind of just stumbled into real estate. I was an assistant for a team for a while. And then just after being in the industry and just seeing it all happen, I just was like, hey, I want to kind of go into this and see what I can do. So got licensed in 2022 and then ended up going kind of off on my own in 2023. And then, I guess joined a team after that. I did solo for a little while and then joined a team, but it's been great.
Awesome. And tell me your guys' structure a little bit about your team and kind of how that works with California and Colorado, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So we happened to meet the team leader of the California team, Andrew Romero, virtually. He found us, and we decided to join forces. And so they have a California team out there of somewhere between 10 and 20 agents. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but somewhere between 10 and 20. And then we have our Colorado team out here. So Andrew Romero and Patrick Bashforth, they lead the California division, and then Abby and I lead the Colorado division. And then we meet both teams together multiple times a week to combine forces and conquer, objections and brainstorm and problem solve and all that together multiple times a week. And so it's really cool to have that perspective of both markets, and lots of agents that do quite a bit of business all working together to help each other do more. We are also a Zillow Flex team, so both in California and Colorado. So we partner with Zillow as well to help us find new clients.
Awesome. And how many are in the team right now in Colorado?
7.
Awesome.
Right? Yep. I was yep.
I was like, I'll let you answer that one.
7.
Love it. All right. So what made you kind of stop going from being a solo agent and then wanting to be on a team or start a team?
So I can start with that one. I would say that being a solo agent is a lot of fun when the market is really hot and on fire. And then as soon as it starts to get difficult, it's not as fun to do it on your own anymore. And I think having a team beside you that can push you on the days that you maybe don't want to work that hard is really getting us all through the tougher market. And just having the support and the training and all of that, I think to work through the market, it's really difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of what she said. And then just really, the community and the support is probably what was the biggest thing to me. I feel like real estate on your own is very just isolating in a sense. I mean, you're always out there talking to clients, but it's not like you have like coworkers, like a, 9-to-5 type of job or something. So I think just having that kind of support and structure is really helpful.
Yeah. And now that I've been on a team, I don't think I would ever want to do it solo ever again, which is crazy. Because if you asked me, 5 years ago, I would have never even guessed that I'd be on a team. And now here I am. So.
Well, and I think it's the community, right? So being on a team and I mean, you guys are the leaders, right? Creating this culture. But when there's such a great culture inside of a team, it builds its own community that, you don't have coworkers from 9 to 5, yet you have each other every single day. And you also are being held accountable to actually hitting goals. Like you have to show up every single day for your team, which in the long run is actually making you more productive, which is ultimately awesome for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, definitely.
Well said.
And you guys are fun. So that's why. So on that community front, talk to me how the collaboration has really impacted your business, especially last year with it being one of the most difficult markets. I mean, things that I saw were transactions hanging on by threads, the most insane situations I've ever seen come across ever in the real estate industry in my 11 years that I've been doing it. So kind of tell me how you guys in that community within your team kind of were able to really pull ahead last year.
I can go. I would say just like definitely the collaboration of coming together, being with each other so often during the week, and being able to like run through different transactions, what's going on. And you don't just have, my knowledge. I have 7 or 6 other girls that have knowledge and kind of can give an input and something that's like an outside perspective on it to really like make the deals happen. And then just outside of that, we have all of the California team as well that can weigh on those as well. So I think that really kind of set us apart from everything with like the difficult transactions and got them to the closing table. And the ones that maybe didn't quite get there, we were able to still figure out a way to get them to the closing table eventually, maybe on something else.
Yeah. And I would say also, because we're a Zillow Flex team, Zillow holds us to extremely high standards that we have to meet. And so we are constantly driven by these incredibly high goals. And it's goals that, we didn't set, because it is really easy to set your own goal. And then if you're not really meeting it, it's not life or death. It's fine. But Zillow, they hold us to it. And if we don't meet them, they will cut us. And we don't want to be cut by Zillow because that's a huge part of our businesses. And so those goals really do make us work really, really, really hard. And because of that, we've really established the team aspect of it as well, because if one of us does well, we all do well. Mm-hmm. And if one of us is not pulling our weight, then the rest of us have to pick up that weight. And we've all felt that and have worked really hard. And I think it's brought us really close as well. And we've all become really good friends because of it, because we just truly act as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of talk about some of the extra things that you guys do, right? Like I know you guys just had your little Christmas thing like a month, I guess that was almost a month ago. Yeah, I'm like, I can't believe it was already a month ago. And I see you guys always out as a team doing stuff. So kind of talk to me about the importance of being outside of the work environment and getting together like that.
I would say, it's a huge importance and something very valuable that we see to do for the girls and stuff. So we try to do something like quarterly with everyone, and then every now and then it's like, hey, we're all at the office, let's go out to eat. But it's really important to kind of step away from work, I think, and build those like connections and the community outside of it, just have some fun. With real estate, you're always on, you're always working. So I think just having those times to kind of just relax or celebrate that you've met a goal all together, I think are huge. And we really like providing that. Do you have any extra stuff on that?
No, I would just say that like Abby and I have been very strategic on who we want on the team, and we do that for a reason, and it's because we've truly become like a team of best friends, and I don't say that lightly, but it's true. We all just genuinely enjoy spending time with each other and hanging out with each other, whether it's work related or not work related. As you know, like she said, real estate's kind of, it's a lifestyle more than a career. So we're always constantly kind of talking real estate or doing real estate, but we all also bond over that and have become really close and can, relate to each other in a way that maybe our friends that are outside of real estate don't. And so I think it just makes us, closer, and we just really enjoy spending time with each other.
I love that. Yeah. You guys definitely have a good dynamic. And I love that you said you just don't take on anyone onto the team. They really have to kind of fit that criteria. And I know this wasn't a question, but just kind of furthermore, when you're looking at bringing on an agent onto the team, what are some important, I don't want to say personality, right? Because everyone's personality is very different, but what are some things that you're looking for in a team member, especially when it comes to the work side of things? So like if you, let's say, newer agents listening to this, they want to build a team. How do you set criteria for agents that you're going to bring onto the team?
I think what the criteria that we've been kind of setting has just been someone who's super driven and really wants to make real estate work, but maybe doesn't have all the tools or anything or something like that. And so that we can provide them maybe like the knowledge and the tools and everything to help like kickstart them or make them succeed. But just like being really driven, I think is kind of like the biggest thing. If you're there, I think we can help you be successful. Do you have like other things that we look for?
Yeah, I would add that like hardworking is a huge one, and being a team player is a huge one because if you're just wanting to join a team that just gives you leads and you just go do your own thing or whatever, like we're probably not the team because like I said, we really do work as a team, and if one of us does well, we all do well kind of aspect, so you really have to be a team player and see the value in the group of us rather than just being, the solo agent that wants leads. And then the hardworking part of it comes along because we work so hard. we work really, really hard. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, you guys crushed it last year. So you do. And I see all the time, like I see on your social medias, how you're like, got a showing today or have a listing appointment. And I'm like, you guys are killing it. So, and I can't wait to see what you do in 2026. Like it's going to be a good year.
I'm excited. I think we have a lot in store. And we have like a full, last year we only really had, it's kind of like went between 4 and 7 fluctuating and stuff. So I'm really excited to see what we do this year.
Exciting. Those numbers from last year, the majority of those numbers are from like 4 of us that were on the team because we only brought on 3 more agents in quarter 4, and the majority of those numbers came between 1 and 3, or majority of those numbers came between quarter 1 and 3.
Really so
now that we
excited.
have 7 really hardworking girls, I think 2026 is going to be huge, and we hope to add a few more agents in 2026 as well. And then we have really big goals this year as well, so it's going to be a big one.
I love it. That's exciting. So talk to me about leadership skills that you guys have developed through leading a team, and especially, and not that this is a favorite topic to talk about, but the hard conversations, right? It's easy to say, oh, as a leader, we do this and we meet and hoorah, woo. But how do you address those heavy conversations, and how has that built you as a leader?
Do you want me to go or you? I'd say like, okay, our dynamic is interesting. I feel like Katie and I, because we both lead it, we work together on our strengths and how we like come across to the girls and how we lead them and stuff. So I think that's like one of our most important like leadership skills that we've learned is how to work together and what's our strengths to then deliver to the girls. So I would say like that's one of our biggest things. And I think whenever, usually like what I've noticed is if someone is struggling on the team or something like that, there's always usually like a reason for it, and just like coming to them, trying to figure out like, okay, what's going on, or hey, you're doing all the right things, maybe you're not converting, like trying to like kind of dive in deeper with them and ask them like, what do you feel like you're not doing correctly, instead of just being like, hey, I see you're not doing this right, like you suck or something like that. I feel like that's not going to go anywhere. So just really like trying to turn things, help them understand what's going on, and direct them to like figure out their own answer, and guide them to that is kind of what I've really come across in like finding in leadership skills. And then do you have some stuff to say?
Yeah, I would say just building off of what you said, like Abby and I are like besties, but we're also kind of opposite. And so that really works well. And like, I don't think I could lead this team without her, and love you, but I don't think you could lead it without me, you know, like, I think we balance each other out really well. And like, the team jokes that I'm the mean mom, and sometimes I have to be, and I'm not afraid to be. I'm always nice and I'm always fun and everything, but like sometimes you got to have those tough conversations, and I'm not afraid to have those, and I'm not afraid to, get a little strict with everybody, and to get the goal done, because sometimes you need that, and if you don't have someone pushing you and whatnot, then maybe you won't be pushed as far. And with that, though, I think one thing that I've really worked on is kind of figuring out everyone's different personalities types and how they respond to criticism, or what helps push them, and like how you can talk to them, because not everyone responds in the same way to feedback, whether it's positive or negative. Some people, we joke that, so the California team, Andrew and Patrick, they're both former college football players. And so you can imagine how they are with, coaching us. It is kind of like we're an all-girls football team. And that works really well for some agents, and some it doesn't work so well for, right? And so you have to kind of figure out, like, do they respond well to that, firm like football coach, or do they need more of like an Abby who's more soft and really like she's more into the feelings and caring and all that, and that's not my cup of tea. So we work really well together in that aspect.
I would say one more thing to add on to that we do together very well for the team, for like our leadership style, is empowerment. Like I do feel like that's a big part of our team, and just making sure each like team member, like we said, if one wins, we all win, but just like empowering each person in their own thing. So she said, each one's a little bit different, but figuring out what that is, or what like makes them feel that way, and kind of, locking into that and making that, I feel like, has built their success like a lot. So I think that's something that we both work together to do.
I would agree, especially knowing your guys' team. And I love that you just said that, because, and I wrote it down because I think this is going to be the name of the actual podcast show. Empowerment is leadership. And everything you guys just previously talked about, right? The self-discovery with them, asking them questions, and continuing to ask questions, not just directly coming out and accusing, right? That in a lot of older style leaderships, that was very natural for people to just go more like, well, this is wrong and this is wrong, versus going, okay, let's discover what's going on here. But yet also holding people accountable, right? And not letting them just drop off the face of the earth, being willing to have those difficult conversations. Everything that you guys do is what empowers each team member to live their biggest life. They're able to step in to the office every single day. They know exactly what they need to do. They know that these are the numbers they have to meet, and yet they have a whole team cheering them on. And I mean, everyone, I know a lot of the girls that are on your team, and watching their worlds change this past year has been incredible. And that's because you two have empowered everyone. So just kudos to both of you for that. I don't think you realize how your leadership is changing so many lives, and not just for your agents, but even for the clients, right? You're helping problem solve all those things that come up in transactions, and you guys just do it really well. So
Thank you.
yeah, like
I would say like
ooh, chills.
a little extra like on all of that. I think it's also kind of because we're doing that to the girls daily and stuff. It's like a constant reminder, and then we kind of do it to each other. Like, so that's why it's been really helpful to have each other. Because I think sometimes when you're at that leadership like position, you kind of just like get stuck. You're like pouring into everyone else, and then you're like, oh, I need to take my own advice. So we're really good with like kind of doing that to each other. And then like the girls, you'll see it, they do it to us. So it's really exciting to kind of see like what we're teaching they are also doing as well.
Yeah, totally. And Abby and I, like we talked about earlier, we really work as a team together. And we joke that like there's never really been a time where we're both kind of on a low, where we like balance each other out, where one of us is doing really well and the other one's kind of struggling with, life or whatever. And then we flip flop. And so there's always a time when one of us is taking care of the team. And ideally it's both of us, but we just kind of balance each other out like that. And then, like you said, like the girls, they do feed back into us. And I don't know, that keeps me going of like seeing the girls do well and like seeing the progress we've made in them and that they've made in themselves really. And, Kayla specifically, love her. I mentored her when she was very, very new. And then now seeing her grow into what she is now, that's really rewarding.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. What other leadership things have you guys, or maybe going into 2026, what are some things as leaders that you're looking forward to installing into your team? And how are you kind of redefining those goals going into this year and on a daily basis? Like, how are you going in? Okay, these are the numbers we have to hit. What are those conversations looking like and getting the team motivated every single day to show up?
I think a big thing that we've done last year, I think was just a little bit like going off of maybe a little more of what Zillow's goals were for us, or kind of just like trying to make it. This year, we've really like sat down with the girls and figured out what is everyone's goals for this year. That is personal, like your goal that you want to do. What's your next level? Where are you at? And then building a plan kind of personalized to each person, but then figuring out how to get it all connected together for the team as well. So I think that's something that we've kind of been starting to do this year a little bit more. And just figuring out, okay, this is what their goals are. This means this for this person. Now we need to make sure we're like holding them accountable to that standard that they just set for themselves. And also there's been a couple of them that when we had those like meetings with them, they set their goal just a little too low that from what I think that they could do. And I'm like, hey, I think you're cutting yourself short. Like, I really think you are capable of this number or this goal. Like, what do you think? Like, would you like to push yourself a little higher and harder? And then they do want to. So kind of really just cracking down on getting very like personalized and intentional for each person.
Yeah. Last year felt more like survival almost. And this year feels more like intentionality or strategy. Because like last year, for the most part, we had 4 of us for the entire year, like I mentioned earlier. Then we added the 3 more. And while we had those 4, we were spread so thin. We were, trying to keep Zillow alive and just keep the team alive in general. And we were just working so hard. And for the most of the year, we also didn't even have an office to go to. We were working entirely nomadically. We met once a week at our lender's conference room, but then beyond that, all we did was, meet virtually. And it's great to meet virtually, but there's something about having an office to go to and be able to separate, working from home and working at an office and be able to like check into work, we don't work a 9 to 5, but sometimes if you like are your own boss, which you are, and you start to structure your life into the 9 to 5, or 9 to noon, 4-hour work week, 9 to 1 or whatever, then you can get a lot done that way. And it's just nice to have an office is my point. And, and so like this year it just feels like we're so much more structured in a way that will make us successful, where last year it kind of felt like we were just constantly just barely keeping our head above water. And this year it's like, oh, we know how to swim now. We can do this, you know?
Yeah. Last year we just were like, let's just do this. And this
Yeah.
year I'm like, we kind of actually have a plan.
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
Well, then I can't wait till next year when we redo this, and I'm going to be like, okay, guys, let's talk about 2026.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
yeah,
excited. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So.
it is. So tell me, when it comes to the leadership, so not only are you guys also then producing, you're also leading the team. So how do you guys handle your schedules? Like, how do you do it?
We both laugh.
Coffee, no sleep. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, like structure, kind of what I've been really trying to be a little bit more intentional about than I did last year is trying to, what's the saying? Kill two
Birds with one stone.
Yeah. So like if there's a time that I can maybe like, I see that there's a couple girls like struggling with something, instead of just like meeting one-on-one with each of them, how I used to do, getting them all together, having us all brainstorm together and things like that. I think that's what has helped. And just setting aside time. I think you can always make time for your priorities. And so that's what I've had to see, like stepping into a leadership position is just like, you got to make time for it. And just move some things around. Stop scrolling on Instagram. I don't know. Things like that.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Totally. And I would say, yeah, just being strict with your own schedule and not being afraid to set boundaries either. Because there was many times when I was mentoring back in the day where I would get texts at 11:30 p.m. from my mentee, and I'm like, nope. And maybe Katie 5 years ago would have answered that at 11:30, but Katie in 2026 is not going to be answering a mentor call or text at 11:30 because I want to be sleeping, because I prioritize my sleep, because I'm going to be better the next day if I have good sleep, right? So yeah, I think just setting those boundaries, and I put my phone in my office at 9 p.m. every night. It's not in my bedroom. I don't check it first thing in the morning. There's no actual emergencies in real estate, right? So like, trying to set us up for success by setting the girls up for success. Handle your stuff during business hours so we don't have to deal with it afterwards, because you shouldn't be, right? And also we have about 9,000 group chats at all times. And so I think that also helps because and also helps create the team environment, because we all help each other in the group chats, both with Colorado and California, and like we're all just constantly kind of communicating with each other, which I think maybe helps with time in a sense, because it's not necessarily setting aside time to do meetings, but we're all just constantly kind of communicating and just kind of keeping each other in the loop. And I think that helps as well, because you don't have to set so much time aside for other things, Yeah.
Yep. I think that we also do like we were talking about earlier with kind of teaching the girls certain things, and then they kind of put it back on us, or they'll kind of do it with each other too. And so like what we've created is something where it is very like team-like group setting where we can all help each other. So if Katie and I, more top producing, we're back to back with our own appointments or something and can't get to something that is maybe a little bit more emergency status, we have those group chats. We have the team in California. We have all of the other girls. And what we've seen is like others helping others and just really like diving in. Oh, you need this. Oh, there's a showing. You can't make it. They're busy. I'll hop on that really quick. So I think we do have a lot of help from our team, just with even leadership. Like I see them stand up and be leaders as well, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also not being afraid to like raise your hand. Like, the other day, Abby's like, I have a full day of showings tomorrow and so-and-so needs to make 2 offers. Like, can you help her make those 2 offers? Nope. And I was like, yeah, totally. And so, we tag team it that way as well. And just not being afraid to raise, like, I need help today.
Yeah.
Not enough hours in the day. And someone else is always willing to pick that up and help because at one time they needed the help. And, it's just vice versa.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and I think it's also installing leadership qualities in your team too, right? So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's say an agent tomorrow is like, I'm going to start building a team. What is maybe one or two things you would tell them with starting a team that they need to make sure they do right off the bat before they bring anybody on?
Before they bring anyone on?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, I had my answer and then you changed it right there.
I was going to make a joke like, don't build a team, but that was.
I feel like what's your reason for it? I would say like really come clean with like yourself and like why do I want to start a team? What's my reason for it? And kind of like what value am I giving to these people? Is this really what I want? Like really kind of like diving in deeper to yourself and just like make sure that you have the right mindset for it would be something I would say. And then from there, once I'm going to take it to like the next level because I had an answer. But
you're good. Take it there.
Maybe you start like getting an agent or two or something on your team. I would just say like, be intentional, be slow about it, like grow the team, like put into these agents, like don't get all big in your head. Like, oh, I want to have, 20 agents tomorrow and have them help me make $1 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think your quality that you're giving to them and the slower you start, I think it will then eventually build quicker. But you're starting your like foundation pretty like strong. And that's going to have these people stick around with you for a long time is kind of what I would say.
Yeah, no. And I would say, make sure you have your oxygen mask on first before you try and put it on others.
There you go.
Like just make sure you have systems in place so that your business continues operating when maybe you don't have the full capacity to operate it on your own because you're busy building a team. Make sure that your, personal life is in a good spot where you can really focus on team, because building a team it's a lot. Or not just building it, just running it. I would say just running a team it's a lot. It's not easy. So just making sure that, I love your answer of why are you doing this? Because I think a lot of people think like, oh, I'm going to build a team. And it's like, okay, but like, okay, are you doing this because you just want to make a bunch of money? Or are you doing this because you want to, help people? Or are you doing this because you want your name on a leaderboard? Or like, why are you really doing this? Because that's going to get you through when, it's because there's days that it's not that fun to run a team, right? Some days it's a lot of fun. Some days it's not so fun. And so that'll get you through the harder days if your priorities are in the right place.
Yeah. You don't want to crash and burn just a couple months or years, something after you start it. So I think, yeah, definitely figuring out all of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And making sure like that you've got finances in place to be able to fund a team as well. Because I think luckily we have Andrew in California that helps us kind of with the behind the scenes operational stuff to get the systems and structures and all that in place. But, if you're just wanting to start a team from scratch, a lot of money goes into all the back end stuff, running a team. I think people realize that as well. So
it does. And I think, and this is something, and because you guys have California, right, they run the operation side, but that's, I think, one of the biggest things. I see these agents, they're like, oh, there are a lot of people that you love to work with in this industry, and that's great. And building a team with them sometimes might not be the best move, because do you actually have like the admin support or the operations behind the scenes to support this? Because once you're building a team, and your job really becomes the person to make sure the leads are coming in, coach the agents, and then you have to do your production too. So who's taking care of all the admin stuff?
Exactly. That's a
Mhm.
good point.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about how we play off of each other's strengths. Like Abby's really good mentor. I'll say all day long she's a better mentor than I am, because she's a lot more patient than I am. She has, a bigger heart than I do. Just kidding. And she's really good at mentoring and pouring into people. I'm really good at like making sure all our tech is set up and our meetings and getting our appointments scheduled and setting up, to meet, local vendors and stuff and kind of network and all. I'm good at that stuff. I do all of our graphic design stuff, all that. So we balance each other out in like that way as well. Because I don't think either of us could do it on our own if we didn't have each other to help us.
Well, and it would look different. Your hires would be different because you can play off of each other and your strengths. Then who comes on the team, you're not having that missing gap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yep.
All right. So last question that I want to ask you, gals, before we end this is, what is one book or podcast that you guys have listened to or read that you may think others should as well?
I really like The Go-Giver. It's one of the first books that was recommended to me whenever I started real estate. I've read it a couple times and I really like it. And I think everyone should read it. That's not just in real estate, that's getting into business at all. But it just really sets a good foundation on how to make a strong business, not just selling, but, building those relationships and providing value and something that people are going to remember you by. It's not about what you're selling. It's about you and, what you provide to them and the experience, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so I don't read too many, business development or self-help or mindset books or whatever, but I do read a lot of other books. But one that I have been wanting to start reading is the 5 a.m. Club. I've been seeing that all over social media. And I think the premise of it is kind of just getting up earlier and setting your day up for success by, waking up at 5 a.m., getting yourself to the gym so you get it done and you don't make an excuse later to not do it. You kind of like how I don't check my phone in the morning. I'm sure it's all kind of that kind of stuff. So setting your day up for success.
Yeah. I'm here for the 5 a.m. club. So that's what time I get to the gym. So
we all know Savannah's up at 5 a.m.
Yeah. It's one of my 2026
4
goals.
a.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, good.
Partially though, it's because it's quiet time and I can enjoy my coffee. So
Oh man.
love it. Well, thank you both so much for being here today. And for everyone, I will make sure that we tag Abby and Katie in this if you would love to learn more about running a team and leadership, because they are awesome. And we will see you guys next week in 2 weeks for our next podcast.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Savannah.